This is the Oakwyn Podcast, featuring Morgan Brown and Michael Yu.
Welcome to the Oakwyn Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Yu.
I'm MB.
Okay, and I'm
Morgan Brown.
the Podfather, I guess. I'm trying to think of an acronym, but
You know, MB is has a good ring to it.
it
But
does.
MU.
MU is cool.
Moo.
Moo.
Hey, it's that cow guy.
MU.
Yeah.
And you sound like a university.
Yeah.
What is the most beautiful university that you've ever been to?
Most beautiful university that I...
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because you go across the world and you see these campuses and you go to these campuses.
Actually, when I was in Quebec, I went to Laval University in Old Quebec
Well, that's
City.
pretty.
And that was spectacular. I didn't go inside, but then the exterior, the buildings, the old kind of like...
I heard McGill is really beautiful.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I believe that.
McGill.
Any of those East Coast ones that have been
Yeah.
there for 300
Yeah.
years, like they're going to be great.
Yeah.
Right.
I went to Trinity College in Ireland. That was so cool. And they had a Harry Potter library called the Book of Keels. And it was just like this incredible.
Is it the Kiehl's the moisturizer company?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
Kiehl's?
Yeah.
So it's like the book of moisturizing. So Morgan went right in. I was like,
All in on
I need to know your
moisturizing.
secrets.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it, guys. But okay, I just thought about going.
Skincare.
Look at that.
Wow.
That was the thing. That was like
that is
you walk in
so cool.
and like
Yeah.
all of the
hall
library.
of.
Sean really didn't want to go,
Cool.
and then after he was like, "Okay, that was really cool." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
But where do they keep the
Gorgeous.
moisturizer? I'm curious.
Kiehl's.
It's everywhere.
Keels.
Top shelf, baby.
Keels, babe. Book of Keels, which is an old Bible, basically, in Trinity College.
Okay.
That was created in 880.
Do you know? I don't know if this statistic still remains true, but in BC, where we're from, in Canada, there's a school called SFU, Simon Fraser University, and they say that Simon Fraser University, among all of Canada, has the highest suicide rate,
Really?
and they think it has a lot to do with the campus.
I thought you were going to say something so different. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
And it has to do with the campus. I don't know if that was like maybe because I
Well,
went to UBC and that's
and,
what
like,
they
Is it-
say.
And criminology is like the number one thing in SFU, which is
Is it?
weird
Yeah.
that you say that because
Yeah.
my sister went there. She
Really?
graduated with her SFU there. Honors.
Explains a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. She really, like,
Woo.
But no, I didn't know that. That's super
Is
sad.
do you think it's because it's up high and the air's
I
not
think it has
thinner?
something to do with the the light in the light, like that it doesn't get enough vitamin D. It's I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know if it's true or not. Yeah, so I don't know if it's true or not, but that was the old myth and rumor back in the old days. And speaking of universities, it's time for back to school season.
Back
for
to
a lot of
school
us.
season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My son went to kindergarten for the
How
first.
was that for you?
Oh,
It was nerve wracking
Okay.
was it nerve wracking for him or for you?
for me.
Okay. Was he excited? Was he
Yeah, oh
stoked?
God, my son is like, he was like, oh, you like hold his little picture and he like went in. It's weird. They have a gradual entry thing
Yeah.
where it's like an hour and a half just to kind of get to know the teacher. And then all week it's only like 2 hours.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then next week it's finally goes to their normal schedule, which is 8:30 to 3, which is great.
Right.
I feel like they only need like 1 or 2 days of
So
gradual entry,
he's well acclimatized to it.
This morning I dropped him back off, and first of all, I'm really happy because I think when you go to these schools, like it's your first. I don't know how to explain it. It's like your first, like
First day of school
the
is a
first day of
big
school.
like that. That's a big thing.
I think it
Yeah.
helps that my kid's wearing a uniform though, so he doesn't have to worry about what to wear and all that stuff. He
yeah,
just goes,
that's so nice.
and the
Same
kids
here.
just go, and they all run around and play. There's no like, outfit. Like
Yeah.
they're just like
There's no sizing each other up
Sizing
based
people up.
on.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's just
hey, you're
one
wearing-
less decision to make in the
It
morning
is.
because
It
mornings
really
are
is.
so awful trying to get kids to school.
It
and
is so awful. And,
Yeah.
and I don't want him to get all of his stuff dirty because I make him crepes or I make him pancakes in the morning. I'm that mom. And I make him crepes, make a pancake, and he'll have jam and Nutella and all this stuff around there. And I'm always like worried. So he like eats like naked basically in his underwear because I'm like, I don't want you to get everything dirty.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I got to start doing that. Yesterday, my
Yeah.
daughter's first day in
Oh.
grade 1, and
And she wears a uniform too.
yeah, she wears uniform, and so she's all cute and pretty. And my wife just did her hair, spent like 15 minutes doing her hair. She comes downstairs and she was like, oh, what'd you make for breakfast? And I was like, a smoothie. She was like, smoothie! Grabs it and chucks it into her face. And it's just like, boom, all over her stomach and her uniform. And I was like,
It really is like that.
okay, just go change. I mean, that's what they do.
It's weird because I was never a uniform kid myself, so it's weird putting it on him but you know what's cool is the families. Like I was like, whoa, what was the energy of the families was so good. Like I felt like I could really I was leaving him in a really safe place. I felt like the teacher was from Ireland, which I was like, awesome.
That.
Oh, that's a
It's like a weird thing. And yeah, so yeah, it was cool, but we'll see how
So
he
he
likes
wasn't
it in a
like
week.
kicking and screaming.
No, he's like,
don't leave me.
No.
Why are you abandoning me?
And his
again?"
girlfriend's there. His girlfriend's in the class.
Oh,
So he has a girl that is in
He has a girlfriend at the age of 5?
of course. Have you seen him? He's a good looking kid.
beautiful Asian, beautiful. She's like this big. Her name's Annie, and her cheeks, like I've never seen such a beautiful Asian little girl. Like she looks like she's someone's gonna break her. She's so cute, right?
You just want to pinch those.
And so I saw her. My son comes. Like I came home last night after work or whatever, and I was like, "How was school?" And he goes, "Annie's in my class, and she gave me a hug." And I was like, "Oh my god, they're bad."
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, that was cool. But
The
you're
young
gonna have.
player.
I was thinking about Sophia today. I was like, oh, like
He's a player, not a player.
yeah, and
Yeah, that's the good
I think
one.
it's
right?
hard. It's hard because I talked to one of our agents and she said the same thing, but she had to get. I told her that we had a uniform, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's so much pain getting my
Mhm.
daughter ready, like with all this stuff, and she wants to wear it as." But then there's some creativity to that too, right? You can be creative.
there's some creativity. Like I had a friend that went to private school that like she was at one of the local like girls private schools, and she said like you tell how cool some kids were by how high they hiked up their skirts. So like there was like
That's not very cool.
There's
That's
like a hierarchy level, and she was clearly like ankle girl. And then like
They're strict
the
at these
coolest
Catholic
girls are
schools.
the ones that
though.
are like
yeah.
These
gone
Catholic
up
schools are
high,
like-
and she's like, yeah, it was just like, okay, this was your totem pole.
I think that's like
hilarious.
private, public, private, whatever people floats your boat, go for it, guys. It doesn't matter. Private, public, whatever. But I think you just gotta kind of, my mom always said this because she's had a couple kids in private, public, whatever. And you just gotta like listen to your kids. Are they having a good time and
Do you have a-
enjoying it?
Do you have a first day of school story?
I mean, I remember my first day of grade 8. It was the worst.
Okay,
Because
what
I
happened?
was, so in grade 7, I was disowned by all my friends.
Oh,
because
wow.
I started hanging out with another group of friends because I was just social and I hung out with another dancer group of friends.
Mm.
So all of my friends from elementary school basically were like, Morgan's no longer. She's not part of our group anymore.
So they like exiled you.
They exiled me. Yes, they did. And so I wasn't friends with them. So in grade 8, going to the same school as that group, I didn't hang out with any of my old friends. Like it was so weird. So I felt very displaced. I didn't know who to. And my dad, because he's a hairdresser, decided like the day before, we should do your hair before high school. And he dyed my hair Ronald McDonald, blonde, red, blonde, red, blonde, red. So my hair was not black. It was blonde and red.
Mhm.
And I was like coming into the school, no friends, like my hair was terrible. Like I didn't know anybody. And then it was like, it just was like not a good day.
Okay.
I had terrible
Huh.
grade 8.
Yeah. Were you alone or were you
I
mocked?
was alone. I was alone and I was ignored.
That's better than being openly mocked, I guess.
No, I don't know.
No?
Like,
I think ignoring is the worst type of thing you could do. to
Yeah, I
somebody.
guess
yeah.
so.
I really
think
think it's
silent treatment is worse than like someone raging on you. Because when someone's raging on you, they actually care.
Yeah.
And if someone's like,
yeah. And you're part of the
silent treatment, it's like-
conversation. Yeah.
But the good thing
You
is
don't
that my
know.
life was like, I think about it now of being a parent, and a lot of people say, well, why are you taking your kids to these random places? They're not going to remember it.
Mhm.
But I remember my parents made me feel very uncomfortable in different situations, whether that was taking me to the salon.
Yeah.
And so in those uncomfortable moments, I never felt as uncomfortable as someone that might have never had that.
Right?
Does
yeah.
that make sense?
I find
Yeah.
that this is, and if you have said this in the past, it's not a reflection of you as a person or a parent. But anyone that says like, oh, they're not gonna remember, why even bother to do anything of fun and importance? I'm like, okay, so you have your conscious memories,
Yeah. Okay.
clearly.
Yes.
That you prefrontal cortex, and these are things you remember. It's your long-term memory banks, and those obviously are developed anywhere from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old when they start kind of formulating. But then there's your subconscious mind, which is the vast majority of your
Yes.
existence. Is your subconscious
Yeah.
that's being
Yeah.
fed from the moment. Like it's actually
Yes.
even your subconscious mind is turned on while you're in the belly.
Yeah.
So like,
Right.
yeah, so like the moods, the conversation, the energy that's flowing in around around that person, is it has impact and effect. So
Definitely.
like
Mhm.
Yeah.
sense of adventure, sense of all these types of things. I feel like, yeah. So
That's my
part
first
of me
thing.
when someone says that is like, one's lazy.
Well, someone says, for me, I say to them, do you not read your kids' books or read or sing them songs? Because that's a
Yeah.
big part of what is, that they think of, right? All the time. So, anyways,
That
so
being
that was
said,
my worst day of school.
I'm still not going to take my kids to Disneyland for a few more
Yes.
years because
Yeah.
that one I
Disneyland's
feel
hard.
like
Well, it's
yeah.
a cost benefit
feel-
analysis,
Exactly.
right? So it's like so it's a total
You
cost.
brought your daughter.
I brought my daughter because it was a birthday party for my sister's 30th birthday.
Yes.
Okay.
So like
Yep.
I wouldn't have taken her intentionally without that kind of group setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
definitely wouldn't have done that. Like
I mean, if
we
we're
went,
going anyways.
we went, like we went,
Yeah.
and we also went camping, for example, which is like cost benefit analysis very high. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the cost was low.
Yes.
We got to enjoy family time together. We're detached from communication. She got to experience nature. She picked up rocks. She had dirt
And she's
under
with
her
your
nails,
aunties.
Yeah.
sleeping on the ground, all that kind of stuff. That is a memory. It
Yep.
wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
What was your worst day of school?
It could be a
Ooh.
good one too.
No, it was
none
bad,
of
of
you
course.
guys.
I think most people have terrible first day school memories. It's not like first day of school, I was the life of the party. Everyone loved me.
No.
People hoisted me over their shoulders and
No.
were like, Michael, I'm the king of this school.
I think that you know what's weird? I
how I
think
remember.
about like the people who befriended me when I didn't have anybody during that time.
Yeah.
Was actually the whole Musqueam reserve. And
Oh,
so
really?
I have so they were friends with my sisters. The older sisters were friends with the sisters, and they all found me and they were like, hey, Morgan. And then they all kind of befriended me. And it was
Nice.
so nice. It was like, I felt like I was like, okay, they got me. I'm not alone,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I have a huge, obviously, a connection to the Musqueam Reserve. I spent a lot of my grade 8 in that reserve with those people, with all of the I want to say native because that's what they called themselves when we were really Aboriginal.
Mhm.
Cut that out, maybe. I don't know. But they were all really, and then they all made me a nickname. So they nicknamed me like right out of the gate.
What was your nickname?
Honeybee. Little Honeybee Brown.
Huh.
Wasn't that funny?
Honeybee.
Yeah, they said that you were just buzzing. I was buzzing.
Yeah, I was
you've-
gonna say it's
you've,
probably 'cause
you've
you're-
evolved to the queen bee.
I am
now.
like,
Yeah.
oh.
And I'm your
Yeah.
servant drone bee.
Here is your
I'm
pollen.
here to.
What about you in
Collect
grade
your
8? Did you?
nectar.
How was your first day of grade 8?
Ooh. Okay. Anyways, it was terrible.
Look at us now.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Well, number one, the institution of school, like not really.
I know. I'm the same with me.
Yeah,
I'm, like,
I'm
oh,
not a big fan.
but
Besides that, and just so I remember going like, I was like, okay, my elementary school was, it was okay, average. But I'm like, I'm gonna make high school great. So I was like, high school,
Yeah.
it's time to be great. I watched high school movies, people having fun, they're getting hijinks. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be popular. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Lots of hygiene.
oh, so
So-
you had like a high level. You were like,
I wanted
want-
to be like,
Oh,
I wanted to
interesting. Yes.
I'm a try hard. Like, like my life has been defined by trying too hard and people getting annoyed. And then it kind of somehow working out in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It worked out. It worked out for you.
So basically, like I was like, okay. So I was like, Mom, I wanted to like, I'm not a clothing guy. So I was like, Mom, I want to buy like a new set of clothes. And so like we went to
What were
like
you
a store
wearing?
called Planet Superstar.
Oh, Planet
in Oak Ridge,
Superstar. Yes.
Hmm.
where the old Planet Superstar in Oak Ridge had all the cool like sportswear type of stuff.
Athletic
Yeah,
wear.
and everyone had these like Adidas track pants.
Yeah,
like,
the
they're, like,
tearaways?
Champions?
yeah,
Or the Adidas?
Champions and Adidas.
Yes.
So everyone had
Yeah.
either
I remember
Champions or
that.
Adidas. So
Yes.
those are the cool ones. So the Adidas has 3 lines going down the bottom.
Mhm.
So I went to like buy. I was like, I want to buy this because it's cool. Like hip hop artists are wearing it. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then like I go there and my mom sees the price of these things and she's like, "Whoa, gosh, like these are freaking expensive." And I was like,
Of course they are, Mom. They're
I was
cool.
Like, I was like, well, okay. And she's like, she picked up the one beside it, and there was 2 lines down the side.
Yes.
Not 3 lines, but 2 lines on the side. I think they were Converse. I can't remember which
25%
ones.
off.
They were so much cheaper. They were 25% of the. They were like that much cheaper.
Wow.
My mom's like, no one's gonna tell the difference. Why don't you get these ones? And I was like, that seems sound logic to me.
Turns out kids have eyes.
And so I was like, yeah, sure. So I bought these pants, which are tearaway pants. And basically, I never knew that you had to wear shorts underneath these pants.
What?
Because I'm a freaking nerd,
Right,
man. I don't know
yeah.
jack
Oh,
all.
this is awkward. I know where this is going.
Kelly was, I gotta say, my best friend.
So I was wearing like
She
tidy
got
white, like I was
ruined.
wearing kind of like not tidy whities. They weren't white, but they were like, I don't believe in white underwear, by the way. That's one thing I learned from my dad.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
White underwear is a no-go. I don't know why they make white underwear. That
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Because you can bleach it.
Yeah, that's pointless and dumb. That's just embarrassment waiting to happen.
White underwear are they're
I-
a
I'm
one-time
on a
use.
mission to end
Oh
all
my
white.
God.
Like, white underwear should be extended. Anyone that buys white underwear is crazy.
Or they're Drake. And they're throwing them out
Drake.
after.
Okay, no, they're
Exactly.
either
Or they're Bieber.
or they're like so confident.
Yeah.
Like, how confident can he be?
Pretty confident.
Yeah. So,
This is really going way too far for me.
so basically,
Okay, so you got
yeah,
white.
obviously, so I had the Converse thing, and everyone, when I show up to school, everyone was like, second, and obviously people were like, what? Like, I never saw it. And then I got made fun of a little bit. And then
This was
people
Hammer,
started,
right?
no, this was Churchill.
Oh gosh.
And then people started tearing the pants off of me
Oh,
That's
as
normal.
a joke.
Everyone
Yeah.
does
And
that.
everyone did that as like
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah, it was
But
a
I
thing.
didn't know that I had to wear shorts underneath these things because I didn't know people were going to tear them away.
well, you found that out
So
in a
like people were
hurry.
just like tearing them away, and I was like, they're like, what? You don't have like shorts on?
Oh, and then they must have just
And they
vultured in
That's
They
a
on you.
saw like my
vulture.
milky white thighs, and I was like, oh God, yeah,
God.
why is this happening to me? And I was like, and I hit puberty so late. I was like the shortest, smallest guy. I hit puberty when I was like
God.
16 or 17 years old. So I was like short. I was smaller than everyone.
Oh, jeez.
And I was getting my pants ripped off. I was like, this is.
But how was it in grade 9?
I had to transfer schools.
Me too. We both
Hey!
transferred schools.
Because I got bullied so bad
Me
in grade
too.
8 because it started
Are you
so bad.
serious?
That's
It just-
something I totally didn't even realize
It
until right
snowballed.
Oh, okay.
It snowballed so that I
Sad.
just got picked on
A
so
little
much
bit.
in grade 8. I just got picked on and picked on and picked on. It never ended. It was like no hope in
now.
sight.
Good mummy to get you
And
out
like
of there.
I was
Mhm.
like
You know what I mean?
went from being like this. I loved like laughing. Like I would laugh really loud. I would,
Yes,
like,
yes.
And then like people were making fun of my laugh because I have a weird kind of way of laughing. And then so I was always covering my mouth, and it was just like so bad. So my mom noticed this on me, obviously, and was like, why don't you change schools? And I didn't even suggest it because I like to grind through
Yeah.
things.
You probably didn't know that you could change.
I didn't even know that
right?
was a
I
thing.
totally asked
Yeah.
my mom to change schools.
Wow.
So my mom was like,
Like, I'm out
why don't we
here.
just look at this new school? Where, because I had a couple friends, I had friends that were like the immigrant
Family
kids
friends.
in my
yeah.
in my elementary school that I used to hang out with. They're these Japanese kids that I used to go to their house for sleepovers, and we were still friends. We were hanging out every weekend. And so one of them went to another school. So they're like, why don't you go to school? Because he's a good kid, and then you have a friend. And I was like,
Okay.
well, I'll check it out, but I probably won't go.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you weren't even wanting to go?
Well, I don't know, because I thought it was like because then my mom would have to do 2 drop-offs because like my
sisters were there.
were in Churchill, so like it was like a big deal actually
Yeah.
for me because my sisters were, and following up my sisters. Oh my gosh, That was like another
know,
story.
they're,
So
like,
like not
so
only was I
mixed
hated
up.
by the students, I was hated by the teachers because the
'Cause they're so
teachers, my
smart.
2 older sisters went to the same school and they
Or A's.
are like the most studious kids you've ever seen in your life.
Wow.
None of them has ever seen a B in their life.
Oh,
And not only do they
sad.
get
So
I
annoying.
was a C grade T all day
yeah,
long.
not
Yeah,
only do they
B's
get
and C's,
straight
yeah.
Baby
A's,
B.
they help out.
Yeah.
They're like, they clean the chalkboard. They do all this stuff. And I
Oh,
was
the
like,
worst.
Oh God, worst.
and they're
worst
just
people.
so like involved. They're like, my sister was this class president.
Oh
and
my
other sister
gosh.
was like the top
That's one
academic
thing I'm
student.
very happy with is that I never had to share a school with any of my siblings.
Ugh.
Thank God. Because I
Mhm.
think it would have been really like my sister and brother are super studious people too.
Yeah.
And I would be like, oh great, this is
And
fun.
our last name is so unique that it's like, oh, you're Adrian's little brother. Oh, you're
Mm.
Arlene's little brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're Arlene's your little brother. Oh, he's gonna be a breeze.
Oh,
Let's and then
Nope.
like,
I'm the
but
worst.
I am terrible. And I have no attention span.
Up next, we're talking about just that, building relationships and talking about overcoming network anxiety.
Aha.
Thank you to the Oakwyn podcast. If you like this terrible.
God, you.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. Again, thank you for listening to the Oakwyn podcast. If you like our podcast and you would like to hear more from us, please rate us 5 out of 5 on that platform of choice. And if you want to get to know a little bit about Oakwyn and how you can be a part of our culture, our community at Oakwyn, please go to oakwyn.com/join and put in that message box Unite 2023, and we will send you a hello, and also a free mystery swag piece. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks.
Welcome back, guys. We're talking all things networking and network anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of talked a little bit about kind of coming into your own space and kind of creating a new space
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to feel welcome in, right?
Right.
So I think a big part of what we do as realtors is building prospects, finding a way to build business,
Right.
but also connecting with people that are not in your sphere of influence.
Yeah. So obviously, when people first start in real estate, they kind of work their sphere of influence very, very kind of diligently.
Mhm.
And then kind of sometimes that runs out. So what do we do then? You know, obviously we want to stay in touch with our sphere of influence, but we need to expand that circle. And so networking, meeting new people is expanding your circle of influence to be able to include more people from
Mhm.
different walks of life. And you know, it is a bit cliche, and we talk about it all the time on the podcast here. But you know, we're not in the real estate business; we're in the people business.
That's
so
right.
the better you are with people, connecting with people, getting into deeper relationship with people, establishing trust with people, the better you're going to do in this business.
My mother has always said to me, because she used to own a network, and she said, you need to replace network with development. And why she said that,
Oh, I like this. Okay, go on.
Deborah Brown,
on, Deb.
she would say that there's 3 types of networking. There's career development. So development a career-based development, which is networking, career networking. There's personal development, and then there's professional development. So there's 3 different segments. And you can kind of like weave in and out to build your own space. So if you would like to build more of a network in your career, then you go to a network that kind of aids to that. If you would like something more on a personal level, whether that's something more holistic to yourself, then you're going to go into more of a personal development network. And finding that segment is going to really develop you and own your craft a little bit more.
Mhm.
So that's what her whole point was. Is to
I
kind
like
of,
how she segmented it, and I like, you know, it's funny. Like, I have this weird, like, bad taste in my mouth from the word networking.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
not fun.
You know, I just
Yeah.
don't
Yes.
like that word networking. It reminds me of like, hey, what do you do for a living? Here's my card. Let's have my people call your people, and we'll set something up for a lunch sometime. Like, and
What's the best network you've ever gone to?
probably, you know, I would probably say playing hockey
Personal.
has been,
Yeah.
one of the best networking things.
Perfect.
Like playing on different teams and getting to know the the people there as well, has probably been it has been a really great source of my real estate business.
Perfect.
It has been through my hobbies, my recreational activities. So like I've met a lot of clients through hockey. I've met a lot of clients through Magic the Gathering hobby as well, through our Friday Night Magic events and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it just depends.
So that's a really good point, Michael, because I think a lot of people think when they think of networking, it has to be at a networking event.
Yeah.
It's not. Networking is all about coming with a collaborative group of people that have the same interests.
What did your mom? So she didn't say it networking. She says it's
Development.
Development.
So she's like all about not that networking is really just based off of it.
I hate that. I hate that term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you just said is you did more of a personal development, right?
Yeah,
So it's personal.
Yeah.
What you've done is you're getting better at hockey and you're getting
Not
better
really
at
getting
magic cards.
You're
I am
stagnating
getting better
at hockey.
Magic. I'm pretty good at magic.
There you go. There you go.
Where for me it might be like a wine club. Like, a wine club is kind of more of a network, but more of a personal thing, which I'm trying to get into because I might want to do that. And then also just a travel club. You can just depends on who it is, right? What your personal interests are. But then there's also the professional development side of it, where it might be something that's more in a business related sense.
We have some agents that really do phenomenally well. I'm going to shout them out here. Sandy Gibson, Jeff Appleby, Andrew Lasco, who are part of BNIs, Peachback, who are part of BNIs organizations, and it's a really great business network.
The Vancouver Board of Trade.
There's
a lot of those
Jenny
events.
Wooden is a big member of the Burnaby Board of Trade, and so like there are some great networking associations. Or
So that would be more of a
professional development.
That is more professional development.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're finding other people's in your profession that are going to help you aid you and your clients to create more of that craft, right? So BNIs are really great because you only get one of each different occupation. So you start immediately building that network for you and your clients, right? So why do you think people are so afraid? One of the biggest things that I've been realizing is a lot of people are afraid of actually jumping into the ring and going and networking. And they say it's about that networking anxiety.
Yeah.
Do you have networking anxiety?
Yes, I do. I have a very deep.
One more.
Deep. Like just fear.
So what is it? What is it? Networking anxiety.
I think it's just in my, so everyone, everyone has different ways in which they have their what they're comfortable with. And I've always been a basement dweller. I'm like a dishwasher. I like to be behind the scenes.
But he's so not like that. When you go out and you see
turn it
Mike,
on, right?
He turns it on.
Yeah. Doesn't mean he likes it.
Yeah.
So just there's an element of intro and extroversion that people have. I think that's something that it's on a spectrum. So I like to be comfortable, and I don't like to be. So
I think the first step for networking is getting started. So finding different strategies to overcome those anxieties.
Yeah, totally.
To walk into the room and make the first move in that network, right? So having, and I think there's specific things that you can do to do that. So number one, arrive early. Don't be afraid to arrive early. I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, we want to come in with a whole big crowd. It actually, take it from me, it actually does not work in your favor because you're not making meaningful connections with those people very quickly when there's a whole room of 50 people. Try and be the first one there. And then the volume of the whole room will go up over time as opposed to you going in with the anxiety of 1 million people and it being very high volume level. So that's one of the strategies I think that's super easy to do right away. So if the network starts at 6:00, go there at 5:45. Introduce yourself to the people that are actually hosting the event and then slowly build that confidence as time goes on. I like doing that so I can leave early.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm in and then I'm out. And then the second kind of thing is kind of figuring out your elevator pitch. And Mike was talking a little bit about, like you trying to commit to those like not networking, but having those conversations. What have you come to? What are some suggestions to people to create that elevator pitch?
Well, so this is like, this is a bit embarrassing, but like I was so bad at, introducing myself to people that I obviously hired a sales coach. So I hired a sales coach when I was very young, when I was in my early 20s. And we always worked on like, first impressions. How do I, because like my first impression was terrible. Like I had a weak handshake. We were like, do handshake practice, like all this kind of like, and then he would make me like, kind of like say things over and over again in front of a mirror. Like he would be like, you have to say like 3 good things about yourself every morning in the mirror. Why? And like, so
you have a nice left eye, you have a nice right eye, you have a nice lip. Work your way down.
It wasn't nice. It was above average. Yeah. So basically,
elevator pitch.
So basically, just you want to practice it. You want to like there's a lot of communication and this is something that I learned. Communication isn't. It's like 97% nonverbal. So it's not really about what you're saying. It's how you say it and how you present it. It's your body posture. It's your eye contact.
Yes.
It's the tone of your voice. It's the pace of your voice. It's how deeply you breathe. It's all these types of things that create that create the whole communication package. So when you're in a networking environment, you want to prepare yourself. So you want to obviously have the right mental mindset where, you're going to be open-minded. You're going to be free-flowing. You're going to let, like Morgan said, you're going to, go with the rhythm of the room, and you're not going to like, just charge in there like a bull. Like that's not but if you're a bull that charges in, be a bull that charges in, like that's great.
Yeah.
But, if you're softer in character, be the way you are. But, really you want to be concise. So for example, if someone's asked like, so what do you do? You're a real estate agent or, whatever that is. And, I'm a real estate agent. I help, buyers and sellers in the market make good decisions. Like that would be something that you can say.
Yeah.
And so, that's just short and concise. And then the most important part is asking them what they do.
I think it's a listening
It's
part
really
of
a
it.
listening thing. Like
Yes.
I just love asking really.
I don't really want to know. I don't want people to know what I do. I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
When I'm networking. I'm
Yeah,
like,
then you can
don't talk about
qualify
me.
them if they're going to be a client or not.
It's not the truth, right?
Just
I mean, I've been to about, oh my God, hundreds of networks because my mom would make me go to her network and I was like 15. And I'd have to sit there and talk to people all day. But I got paid. It was awesome.
Oh,
and
nice.
so I was like, Mom, I'm taking this. I'm going out. But one of the biggest things with social anxiety is like preparing yourself. And why I say elevator pitch, it sounds very cheesy, but it's for you to feel like you're not going to stumble over your words.
Mhm.
So you don't have to convince anyone that you're a realtor, but just being able to say to yourself, making kind of prompting questions for that to come back to you.
Mhm.
So kind of saying, okay, the first thing you could say to someone like, hey, Brayden, nice to meet you. Whereabouts do you live? Like,
Live in Strathcona.
oh, you do? Have you been to that shop called JJ Bean down the corner?
More so the beer guy. I'm more a super.
Oh my God. That's
But
great.
you know JJ.
It's one of my
That's
favorite
amazing. Wow.
places to go. I have the jam cookie all the time.
Nice.
But yeah, no, how long have you lived there for?
5 years now.
Oh, I love Strathcona. Did you live there? Where did you live before that?
In Kits.
Kitsilano. Kitsilano is probably, I would say, the best beach in Vancouver. Would you think that too?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm a wreck beach guy, by the way. I'm Michael Yu. And I just bowled into this convo.
Oh, don't touch that hand.
How's it going? Like, I think I seen you there.
But yeah, no. And like finding that rhythm is going to be up to you. But being able to say, just like it's part of, usually that will lead to, oh, what part are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Or how do you know so much about that?
Yeah.
And it comes back to you saying, oh, I help buyers and sellers like in the area. I'm a realtor, like half of Vancouver, like half of Vancouver, but I'm really cool because I like the beach. And then you find something like that. But there's all these tips and tricks. And I think why I say create that elevator pitch is just to provide yourself a little bit of breath to not be so afraid when you go into those networking events. The second phase is kind of finding a way to be authentic. How do you find yourself to be authentic in networks?
Yeah, so that's a great point because I think a lot of people try to be like this big fake, like fake it till you make it type of thing, and I hate that philosophy. Just be who you are,
Who you
like
are.
exactly who you are, exactly how you're made. Go to your nature and be yourself, because you can put on a show for so long, but it's tiresome. You will wear out, and people will find out. So like just be yourself, just be totally yourself. I used to hide the fact that I played Magic the Gathering. I used to hide the fact that I love comic books. I used to hide the fact that I like that of all the and I was like, oh, I'm into travel and working out. I'm not into travel. I'm not into working out that much. But I'm interested in people. I love people. So if they're
Yes.
into it, I want to learn more about what they're into, because like that's cool. Maybe I can learn a few things. So like that's that's up to you
Being
just
authentic.
just to be yourself. If you're not the most outgoing individual in the whole world, don't you can come and show up,
Yes.
build a few deep relationships, and go home with 1 or 2 or 3 new friends. That is more than enough at a use of a good use of 1 or 2 hours of your time.
I think emphasizing that importance of being authentic is completely right. I think a lot of people put on the show of what a typical realtor would look like in that room.
Like you're
Yeah.
exactly. You
A-
do the stereotypical
You do the
realtor thing.
stereotypical thing. And then you realize genuine connections just last longer, right? And I think a lot of other people, what I found from people saying networking, they feel like they have to get through the whole room. But it's not about getting through the whole room. It's about finding 1 or 2 people that you're going to connect with, right? So I will tell you some of my best networking happened in the women's bathroom because it's quiet.
I thought because you're doing cocaine
And doing some cocaine.
That
Actually,
helps.
Ed Sheeran.
That helps.
Okay, anyways, whatever. No, I'm saying Ed Sheeran. There was like
Got
police
it.
officers everywhere at Ed Sheeran. I was like, okay.
Oh.
Best
Wow.
concert I've ever been to. I would say
Did he
having
play Like Fire?
I don't
One
know
from
if
The
it-
Hobbit?
No, I don't think so. Have you watched his Disney Netflix? It's like Arnold, but better.
Oh.
Ed Sheeran, super good.
When people say that music industry is all about looks, and then you're like, then you.
But what about that guy?
He goes against like anyone that's like, I didn't make it because I don't look good as Beyonce.
No, Ed Sheeran is incredible.
Hello.
I've never seen anyone command 65,000 people in a room with one stage with a guitar.
Oh, they broke a record.
He
for
wrote a
that.
record. Yeah, they had a record. He actually came out and was like, the BC place just said that they've never had this many people in the space. 65,000
That's surprising
people.
for like.
And there was
Not a-
kids, and there was old people, and there were
I'm
young
not a giant
people.
Ed
It's
Sheeran
crazy.
fan. I gotta listen to some of his.
You would love
tunes.
his stuff. Well, you know what it is? He's a singer-songwriter. So he actually like authentically goes in there. And Sean got his tickets and I was jet lagged. And I was like, I don't want to go to this. I'm so tired. And then I thank God that he had Khalid come out. It was so good. And it was just such a good pop music vibe. But there was so many people there. It was like, it felt like there was like a lot of people there.
That's a small
And now I'm
city.
going to Beyonce and I'm super excited.
Nice.
And then I'm going to Coldplay. I'm so excited. Okay.
Yeah, you know my feelings about Coldplay.
Effective communication and having that like empathy, I think is very important. So I went to the Dr. Peter Center. This is a
Mhm.
perfect example.
Right.
We went to this evening we were thankfully invited by Gary Sarah.
Right.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, and Sid and
Sid
Jackie.
and Jackie and all of you guys did such an incredible job. I was so thankful to be there and I hope to be invited again next year, which is great. But it's very easy to be in the space where you know a lot of the people and then all you want to do is talk to everyone that you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But, the first thing I thought was, it's amazing how many people from Vancouver are here. can I make a connection with people that really believe in this cause, right?
Mhm.
So how I started a lot of those conversations that I didn't know, a lot of these women and men, it was what brings you here, right? What's the thing? What's the story behind why you're here? And hearing their phases. And I met one of the wives of Tellus, basically. And we were just sitting, we were in the bathroom talking to each other and talking about what brought us there. And it really became this connection between us and finding those kind of meaningful pieces. And from that, we now are going for coffee and, so you have these conversations and being authentic, because I was literally 100% curious why that woman, this other woman that kind of was just chit-chatting in the bathroom was there. And it's just a question. So I think curiosity is a big part of networking.
Mhm.
And then lastly is following up and nourishing those relationships. Right?
It's all about follow-up, people. So obviously, you can be all well and good and get all this contact information from other people, but if it doesn't lead to anything afterwards, so you want to kind of get into a right system of, let's say we're going to some a new event.
Yes.
You can make a goal of like meeting one person, two people, and then you want to create a mini system around it. So, for example, adding them on social media, sending them a text message to say how nice it was to meet with them, and we hope that potentially schedule a follow-up meeting with them or some sort of follow-up activity to kind of deepen the relationship if you felt it was worthwhile to explore further. But even adding them on social media and stuff
That's
like
right.
that is a big it's kind of a nice thing, when you go to an event and then someone's like, oh, they've added me on Facebook, they've added me on Instagram, they've added me on LinkedIn, they've added me on Snapchat.
Vancouver is so small too. I mean, the places
is Snapchat still a thing?
I think for the younger generations, not me.
They're a new
not
subscriber
me.
to my OnlyFans.
I read this article about this woman that made $1 million in a day on OnlyFans. Obviously showing a lot, but I was like, whoa, I'm doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I should really get into foot
Yes.
fetishing.
Yeah, you sure should.
I never understood that.
I know someone that's done it. I know
Really?
someone that's done it.
Like,
And they
what's the-
put whipping cream on their feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
that
Supposedly, this is the number one thing that it was jelly. Stepping in jelly.
stepping in jelly.
Yeah.
That's the only type of I would be fine with my daughters doing that.
What?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
okay, it's harmless.
Yeah,
Like-
totally.
It's harmless.
That's how you're going to make a living then. All the
That's
power
right,
to
like,
you. Yeah.
Hey, you're serving a community. Go on, enjoy.
on.
Like,
The
proud
it's-
father,
it's-
you could be
I
like-
don't. I don't find it exploitive.
Yeah, I'd be
Is that
like, she's
exploitive?
got my feet. Those are my feet.
I mean, I think, hey, someone's got to make a buck. You know?
Everything's for sale,
Listen
people.
up, baby.
Everything's
This
got a
is
price
it.
tag.
This is it. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for joining us on our networking and overcoming your network anxiety. We are super. If you ever are looking to actually discuss more about networking,
Yeah, then go to morgansfeet.com and our OnlyFans/MorganFeet.
I should really do that.
Lots of jelly photos.
Stop plugging it. Stop plugging it. I love it.
But if you enjoyed this podcast, please rate us 5 out of 5 on the podcast platform you're listening to it on. And if you want to learn more about Oakwyn, go to oakwyn.com/join. Type in the message box, Unite 2023, and you'll receive a free piece of mystery swag. Okay, guys, till next time. Thanks.
Thanks so much.